The Galactic Council had seen many wars. They had stopped invasions, destroyed rebels, even punished entire planets. But nothing had ever made them so afraid as the message that came from Earth. The council chamber was shaped like a giant circle, high above a burning red sun. Inside, leaders from 100 species sat in their floating seats. Some had skin of stone, others had wings, some were made of pure energy. All of them stared at the same thing on the massive holographic screen in the middle. The image showed Earth. At first, nothing looked strange. Clouds, oceans, green land. But then, from deep in one of Earth's dark oceans, something began to rise. Something huge. At first, it was only a shadow under the waves. But slowly, piece by piece, a giant shape climbed out of the water. Black metal, towering spires, sharp edges that cut through the mist. It was bigger than any ship they had ever seen. The room went silent. Finally, one council member, a thin alien with golden eyes, spoke softly. "That is no normal ship. That is a planet killer." The words sent a shiver through the chamber. Planet killer. The term was older than most empires sitting in that room. It was used only in ancient history. Ships so powerful they could destroy entire planets in one strike. Everyone thought those days were long gone. The council head, a creature with silver skin that glowed faintly, slammed his hand on the table. "Impossible," he shouted. "Earth has no such power. Earth is a minor world. We keep watch on them. They build farming ships, trade ships. Nothing like this." But even he didn't sound sure. Another alien, the representative of the Kroth Empire, leaned forward. His body was covered in natural armor, his eyes burning red. "Our scanners confirm it," he growled. "It is armed. It carries weapons beyond our records. Its energy core is something we have never seen before." The council chamber erupted into noise. "Destroy it before it fires," one shouted. "No, wait. Talk to the humans first," another yelled. This could start a war. While they argued, the holographic image zoomed closer. The ship was now fully out of the water. It was shaped like a blade pointed at the sky. Strange symbols glowed along its surface. Entire cities on Earth looked like toys next to its size. One alien scientist, small and shaking, gave his report. "We studied the metal. It is old. Far older than Earth's modern cities. Maybe older than our own council." He paused, voice trembling. "Maybe 10,000 years old. Maybe more." The council head froze. "Old? Are you saying humans did not build it?" The scientist looked around nervously. "Maybe ancient humans did. Maybe they had a great empire once. And we never knew." The words hit the room like a storm. For centuries, they had laughed at Earth, called it weak, called humans primitive. But now, maybe the humans were hiding something all along. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the chamber. A new signal had arrived. The warship had activated. On the holographic screen, the giant ship lit up with energy. Its long, dark body glowed like a rising sun. The ocean boiled around it. The sky filled with lightning as its engines powered on. "Is it aiming at us?" someone whispered. The answer came from the fleet commander orbiting Earth. His voice cracked with fear. "The ship has locked on to our battleships. It is preparing weapons." The chamber exploded in panic. "Fire first," one leader shouted. "No, stop. We don't know its strength," cried another. "Evacuate the fleets. Now." The council head tried to stay calm, but sweat rolled down his silver skin. He looked at the holographic image, the giant warship now pointing its massive weapons toward the sky. Toward them. For the first time in centuries, the great Galactic Council felt powerless. They had ruled the galaxy for ages. They had crushed countless enemies. But as that warship aimed its weapons, they realized something terrifying. This was not just a ship. It was a warning. And it came from a planet they had always called weak. The council head's voice shook as he gave the final order. "Send a message to Earth," he whispered. "Ask them what they want." But deep down, everyone knew. The warship was already speaking, and its language was fear. The galaxy had seen war before, but never like this. The giant ship stood above Earth like a dark god. Its massive body stretched so far that even from orbit, it was hard to see the edges. It had risen from the ocean without a single sound, without a single warning, and now it was alive. Lights ran along its surface like rivers of fire. Weapons the size of cities slowly turned toward the alien fleets orbiting Earth. Each barrel glowed with energy older and stronger than anything the galaxy knew. But the ship did not speak. Not yet. The alien fleets waited in silence, hundreds of warships holding position above the blue planet. Their crews stared at the giant ship in terror. Some were soldiers from empires that had conquered a dozen worlds. Others were mercenaries who had fought in countless wars. But today, none of them felt brave. One commander of the Croth Empire licked his dry lips. "It hasn't fired yet," he muttered to his crew. "Maybe it's only a threat. Maybe it doesn't work." But even he didn't believe his own words. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, chaos continued. Leaders shouted at each other, voices filled with fear. "Destroy it before it's too late," one screamed. "No, if it fires back, we lose everything," another shouted. "We should talk to the humans. They must explain this." But the humans on Earth had sent no message. Their planet was silent. The only thing speaking was the massive warship now aiming its weapons at the stars. Suddenly, the lights on the ship brightened. The oceans below boiled as its engines roared like thunder across the planet. Entire coastlines shook as waves crashed against the land. Then, at last, a voice came. It was deep. It was cold. Came from the ship itself, echoing across space. "Leave this world." The words were simple, but the power behind them made every alien heart freeze. The voice spoke again, slow and heavy, like mountains moving. "Leave or die." No one in the council chamber moved. No one even breathed. For centuries, the Galactic Council had given orders. They had told planets what to do, who to fight, who to serve. Now, for the first time, they were the ones receiving a warning. A trembling leader from the Vora Alliance leaned forward. Ask it who commands it," he whispered. A signal was sent to the warship. A question, simple but desperate. "Who are you? Who speaks for Earth?" For a long moment, there was no reply. The warship hovered in silence, its dark body shining like a dead sun. Then the voice returned. "We are Earth's answer," it said. "We are the promise you made us keep." The council members looked at each other in confusion. Promise? What promise? On one of the alien ships, a young soldier whispered to his captain, "It sounds old, like it remembers something." The captain didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the glowing barrels of the Planet-Killer's weapons. Back in the council chamber, fear grew like a storm. "Maybe it is bluffing," one leader said, though his voice shook. "Bluffing?" another shouted. "It destroyed half the ocean just by waking up." But before the argument could continue, the warship began to charge its weapons. On the holographic screen, energy gathered into massive spheres at the ends of its cannons. The light was blinding, turning night into day over half the planet. Alien fleets panicked. "Pull back!" one commander screamed. "Shields up! All ships, shields up!" But no one moved closer. No one dared to fire first. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council realized they were not the strongest power in the galaxy. The warship's voice came one last time, louder than before, shaking every starship, shaking the council chamber itself. "Your fleets will leave Earth's skies. Your empires will leave Earth in peace. This is your only warning." And then silence again. The glowing weapons slowly cooled. The warship did not fire. It simply waited. The alien fleets, once proud and powerful, now hovered like insects before a giant they could not fight. In the council chamber, the leaders said nothing. Even the bravest among them felt their courage drain away, because they all understood something now. If this ship fired even once, entire worlds would burn. And maybe, just maybe, their empires would fall with them. The galaxy waited in silence. The giant warship above Earth had spoken only once. Leave or die. Alien fleets still hovered in orbit, hundreds of warships from dozens of empires. They had come to threaten Earth, to force the humans into submission. But now no one moved. The Planet-Killer Warship floated like a dark mountain in the sky, its massive weapons glowing faintly, aimed at the fleets above. It had given the Council a choice. The entire galaxy held its breath to see what would happen next. Inside the Council chamber, chaos whispered through the air. Leaders from across the stars argued, but their voices were no longer loud. They argued like frightened children. "Pull back," one leader said nervously. "We should leave while we can." "No," another shouted, though his voice shook. "We are the Council. We cannot be threatened by one ship." "One ship," someone else snapped. "That thing could destroy entire planets. Are you blind?" Fear filled every corner of the chamber. No one had ever spoken to the Council this way. No one had ever made them feel so small. Then, in the middle of the arguing, a message came from one of the fleets. An alien admiral from the Xeric Dominion, known for their pride and aggression, sent a single sentence to the Council. "We will not retreat." The entire chamber froze. The Xeric ships were some of the deadliest in the galaxy. Their empire had crushed rebellions, wiped out entire species, and never backed down from war. Now their fleet moved forward slowly, closing in on Earth's planet killer. "They're mad," whispered a council member with trembling tendrils. Another one hissed back, "Or maybe they think it's just a bluff." Everyone knew what was about to happen. On the holographic screen, the Xeric fleet approached the massive warship. Their battleships spread out in attack formation, weapons armed. The council head's voice cracked as he sent a message to the Xeric commander. "Stand down," he ordered. "Do not fire. Do you hear me? Do not fire." But pride was stronger than fear. The Xeric commander sent his reply, his voice filled with cold arrogance. "We do not take orders from ghosts hiding in the water," he said. "One ancient ship cannot stop the Dominion." And then the first shot was fired. A blinding missile streaked across space, leaving a trail of burning light as it headed straight for the Planet-Killer Warship. The entire galaxy seemed to stop breathing. The missile hit, but instead of an explosion, a shimmering shield appeared around the massive ship. The missile burst against it like a child throwing a stone at a mountain. The warship didn't even move. Then, the Planet-Killer responded. Its weapons, silent until now, came alive. Bright spheres of energy formed at the tips of its massive cannons. The light was so intense that even ships far away had to shield their sensors. And then, the first shot from the Planet-Killer was fired. A single beam of white fire cut through space like a sword, passed straight through the Xeric flagship. 1 second, the mighty battleship was there. The next second, it was gone. No explosion, no debris. Just gone. The beam kept going, slicing through 6 more Xeric ships lined up behind the flagship. They vanished in an instant, erased from existence. The council chamber erupted in panic. "Pull them back," someone screamed. "Retreat. Tell them to retreat." But it was too late. The Planet-Killer fired again. Another beam. Another fleet cut apart like paper. Entire armadas, ships that had conquered worlds, were destroyed in seconds. The Xeric commander's voice came through once more, but now it was full of fear. We surrender," he said, his voice shaking. "All ships, retreat, retreat." But the Planet-Killer did not chase them. It simply hovered there, silent once more, its weapons glowing faintly. It had made its point. Back in the council chamber, no one spoke for a long time. The proud Xeric Dominion, one of the strongest empires in the galaxy, had been crushed by a single ship. Entire fleets had been erased like dust on the wind. One council member whispered what everyone was thinking. This is not a weapon. This is the end of empires." The council head, his silver skin pale with fear, finally spoke. "Send a message to all fleets," he ordered quietly. "They are to retreat from Earth's orbit now." No one argued, because every leader in that chamber understood one thing. The galaxy had just changed forever. The Zarek Dominion had been destroyed in seconds. One moment they had the largest fleet above Earth. The next moment, nothing remained. Only dust drifting through space. Their proud flagship, their fearless commanders, their endless weapons gone. Across the galaxy, millions watched in silence. News drones captured everything. Every empire, every leader, every soldier saw the same thing. A single human warship erasing entire fleets like they were nothing. And fear spread like fire through dry grass. In the great council chamber, no one spoke at first. The leaders of the empires sat frozen in their seats, eyes wide, hearts beating fast. The council head finally broke the silence. His voice shook as he spoke. "Send a message to every fleet above Earth," he ordered. "Retreat at once. No one attacks again." But it was already too late. Panic had started spreading across the stars. On distant worlds, people watched the destruction and began to whisper, "The humans have awoken their ancient ship. They have a weapon stronger than the council itself. They will come for us next." In markets, in military bases, in schools and homes, fear grew. Empires that had ruled for centuries suddenly felt small and weak. On the planet of Tvaris, home to the second-largest empire, the emperor held an emergency meeting. His advisors shouted over each other, their voices full of panic. "We must build bigger ships," one cried. "No, we must make peace with Earth," another yelled. "They will destroy us all if we fight." The emperor slammed his fist on the table. "Silence," he roared. His golden armor glimmered under the lights. "We will not beg. We are the Tvaris Empire. We will not bow to Earth." But even as he said the words, his hands trembled. Because everyone knew the truth. The Zarek Dominion had been almost as powerful as the Tvaris Empire. And yet, the humans destroyed them in seconds. On another planet, the leaders of the Vora Alliance were already surrendering before any human had even spoken to them. "We must send a message to Earth," the Vora Prime Minister said quickly. "We will sign any treaty. We will leave their planet alone. We will pay tribute if they ask." His council agreed instantly. No one wanted to share the Zarek Dominion's fate. Meanwhile, rebel groups across the galaxy celebrated. "The council is finished," one rebel leader shouted on a secret broadcast. "The humans have destroyed their fleets. This is the end of the old order." In some places, people even began to worship the warship. "They are the gods returning," said priests on the desert world of Koresh. "The humans have brought the fire of judgment. The wicked will fall." But in most places, there was only fear. On the frozen planet Gyrith, the military commander ordered all his fleets to retreat from Earth's sector at once. "Abandon the blockade," he commanded. "Do not go near that planet, ever again." His officers looked at him with disbelief. "Sir," one said carefully, "the council will be angry." "The council is finished," the commander snapped. "Did you not see what happened? We are nothing before that ship. Nothing." Back in the Galactic Council chamber, chaos had turned into despair. One leader covered in blue feathers stood slowly. His voice cracked as he spoke. "The humans, they were quiet for so long. We thought they were weak. But all this time, they were waiting." Another leader, his skin like molten rock, growled bitterly. "Waiting for what?" The feathered leader looked around the chamber with wide, terrified eyes. "Waiting for us to make a mistake," he whispered. And the mistake had been made. The Zarek Dominion had fired first. Now they no longer existed. In the shadows of the chamber, some leaders spoke softly to their aides. "Prepare surrender documents," one said. "Send tribute ships to Earth," another ordered. "We must show them loyalty before they destroy us too." But the council head only stared at the holographic image of the Planet-Killer Warship. It was still above Earth, silent once more. It had fired only twice, 2 beams of light, and already the galaxy was falling apart. On dozens of worlds, riots began as people demanded their leaders keep peace with Earth. Soldiers deserted their posts. Colonies stopped sending taxes to the council. Old enemies began to rise, sensing weakness in the great empires. The balance of power that had lasted for centuries was collapsing in mere hours. And above the blue planet, the warship waited, its weapons glowing faintly, as if daring anyone else to test its strength. But no one did, because now every empire, every fleet, every soldier understood one thing. The age of the Council was over, and the age of Earth was about to begin. The galaxy was trembling. The proud empires had watched the Xeric dominion erased in seconds. Fleets that had ruled the stars for centuries were now running like frightened animals. The Council had lost control. Fear traveled faster than light, reaching every planet, every colony, every outpost. But no one knew the biggest secret yet. No one knew what that warship really was. The Planet-Killer hovered silently above Earth, its dark metal glowing faintly under the sun. It didn't chase the fleeing fleets. It didn't destroy the cities on alien worlds. Just waited. In the council chamber, leaders argued again, but now their voices were weak, like people who knew they had already lost. One leader with silver scales whispered to the others, "Why would humans build this? They never had such technology. They were always far behind us." Another, with bright yellow eyes, replied, "What if they didn't build it recently? What if it was always there, waiting for someone to wake it up?" The room fell silent at those words. An old historian, rarely noticed in the council, cleared his throat. His voice shook as he spoke. "There are old stories," he said. "Legends from before the council even existed. Stories about an ancient human empire that ruled the stars long ago." The others stared at him in disbelief. The historian continued slowly, his hands trembling. "The legends say there was a time before us, when humans were not weak, when they were everywhere, when they built weapons so powerful even the gods feared them." "Nonsense," one leader snapped, though his face looked pale. "Humans were primitive farmers a few centuries ago. We know this." But the historian shook his head. "Maybe they forgot. Maybe their empire fell. Maybe this ship is the last thing left from that time." Those words sank deep into the hearts of everyone present, because it made sense. The warship didn't look new. Its black metal seemed older than any modern design. Its weapons glowed with technology no one could understand. It didn't even communicate like a normal ship. It spoke like something ancient, something with memory. On the giant holographic screen, the warship's surface shifted slightly. And then, for the first time, the humans sent a message. It was not long. It was not loud. But it froze the entire council. "We told you," the message said, "never to come here with weapons." The council head leaned forward. "Told us?" he whispered. "When? When did they tell us?" The historian's voice shook. "The legends, they speak of a warning given thousands of years ago, that humans would rise again if anyone threatened their homeworld." Another leader laughed nervously. "Legends, just legends." But no one laughed with him, because deep down they all knew. The ship was too powerful, too advanced to be new. It carried the weight of history, of wars fought long before the council even began. And now it was awake again. On distant planets, panic grew worse. Old governments began to fall as people demanded peace with Earth. Some worlds even sent messages directly to the humans, offering surrender before anyone asked for it. But Earth said nothing more. The warship just floated above the planet like a silent guardian. Its weapons still glowed, ready to fire at any moment. In the council chamber, fear turned into desperation. One leader stood, his voice trembling. "We must talk to them. We must tell them we will never attack again." Another leader nodded quickly. "Send tribute ships. Show them we respect their power." The council head stared at the holographic image. "You don't understand," he said quietly. "This isn't about tribute. This isn't about respect. This is about survival. If the legends are true, Earth was once a power greater than all of us combined." No one spoke after that, because they all felt the same thing in their hearts. If the humans were remembering who they once were, if this was only the beginning, then the galaxy's age of empires was ending. Slowly, the warship turned in orbit, its massive shadow falling across the alien fleets still retreating into deep space. It didn't follow them. It didn't have to. The message was clear. Earth was no longer weak. And whatever secrets slept on that planet were waking up again. The warship above Earth was silent again. But its silence was worse than any weapon. Entire empires had fallen into fear after seeing what it could do. The Zarek Dominion, proud and powerful, had been erased like dust in the wind. The Council fleets had retreated in panic. Worlds that once ruled the stars now hid behind their defenses, hoping the humans would not come for them next. On every planet, the same question echoed through streets, homes, and palaces. What will the humans do now? No one had an answer. The great empires sent messages to Earth, begging for peace. Some offered gold, technology, even entire planets as tribute. Others promised to dismantle their fleets, to give up their armies, to never set foot near Earth again. But the humans did not reply. The giant warship floated above the planet, dark and unmoving, like a sleeping god deciding whether the galaxy lived or died. In the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders gathered once more. But the room that once rang with arguments and pride now felt like a tomb. No one shouted this time. They sat in silence, eyes locked on the massive holographic image of the Planet-Killer. The council head, his silver skin pale and trembling, spoke at last. "We have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years," he said softly. "No one ever questioned our power. No one ever defied us." He pointed at the image of the warship. Until now, some leaders bowed their heads in shame. Others clenched their fists, angry but too afraid to speak. A representative from the Vora Alliance stood slowly. Her voice cracked as she said, "We should surrender, publicly. We should tell the humans the Council will never attack them again." Another leader hissed, "You want us to kneel before a single planet?" The Vora representative shook her head. "Not a planet," she said. Before that, everyone knew what she meant. The warship was no ordinary weapon. It was older, stronger, stranger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Some believed it wasn't even built by modern humans. Some believed it was a relic from an ancient time when humanity ruled the stars long before the Council existed. And now it was awake again. Across the galaxy, the fear grew worse. On the desert world of Koresh, entire cities gathered in the streets, looking up at the night sky as if the warship might appear above them next. Priests declared it was a divine judgment, the return of the star builders from ancient myths. People lit fires and prayed for mercy. On the frozen planet Gyrith, soldiers abandoned their posts, refusing to fight for the Council anymore. They said no army could protect them if the humans chose to attack. Even on the homeworld of the Tavaris Empire, second only to the Council itself, the Emperor stood before his people and admitted the truth. "We cannot defeat them," he said to the entire planet. "If Earth wishes to rule, then we will bow." The words spread like wildfire. One by one, powerful empires began to fall on their knees. Some sent messages directly to the humans. "We surrender. We will obey your laws. Spare our worlds." But Earth remained silent. The warship did not move. It did not attack. It simply hovered above the blue planet, watching. And that silence terrified the galaxy more than anything else. Because no one knew what the humans were waiting for. In the council chamber, the leaders sat frozen as a new report arrived. "Half the outer colonies have stopped paying taxes," an aide said nervously. "They say the council can no longer protect them." Another aide added, "Several fleets have abandoned their posts. Some commanders are offering to serve Earth directly." The council head closed his eyes. Centuries of power, collapsing in days. The warship had fired only twice, and the entire galaxy was falling apart. Finally, the council head stood. His voice shook as he said, "Prepare a delegation. We will go to Earth. We will kneel if we must." The other leaders stared at him in disbelief. But deep down, they all knew he was right. The age of the council was over. The age of Earth had begun. The warship above Earth was silent, but its silence was heavier than the darkest storm. Across the galaxy, empires had fallen on their knees. Worlds that once ruled with pride now sent desperate messages to Earth, begging for peace. Fleets retreated. Colonies stopped paying taxes to the Council. Soldiers deserted. The galaxy was breaking apart. But Earth said nothing. The Planet-Killer floated above the blue planet like a sleeping god, its black metal glowing faintly under the sun. It had fired only twice, yet the whole galaxy trembled as if the sky itself was about to fall. In the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders looked like ghosts. The proud rulers of 1,000 worlds sat in silence, eyes fixed on the holographic image of the warship. The council head finally stood. His silver skin looked pale under the lights. His voice was weak. "We have no choice," he said. "We will go to Earth. We will ask for mercy." Some leaders nodded in fear. Others looked angry but said nothing, because they all knew the truth. Earth didn't need to conquer them. It didn't need to speak. It only needed to wait. A fleet of unarmed ships left the Council's capital world. Inside were ambassadors from the greatest empires in the galaxy. Their mission was simple: beg Earth for peace before the humans decided to destroy them all. The journey to Earth was tense. The ambassadors whispered to each other in fear. "Will they listen?" one asked. "Maybe they will kill us as a warning to others," another said. "They are not like us," a third whispered. "That ship, it doesn't fight for power. It fights for something else." No one spoke after that. When the delegation reached Earth, the warship moved for the first time in days. Slowly, its massive body turned toward them. The ambassadors froze in terror as its weapons glowed faintly, casting light across the stars. Then, the ship let them pass. The alien ships landed on Earth for the first time in history. The ambassadors expected to see soldiers, armies, governments waiting for them. But instead, they were brought before only a small group of humans. At the center stood a man in simple clothes. No crown, no weapons, just calm eyes that seemed older than the stars themselves. The council head stepped forward nervously. We come in peace," he said. His voice trembled. "We offer surrender. We will leave Earth alone forever. We will obey your laws." The man studied them for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice calm but heavy like the Planet-Killer itself. "You came with fleets," he said. "You came with weapons. You fired first. And now you want peace." The ambassadors bowed their heads. "Yes," the council head said softly. "We will give anything you ask. Just spare our worlds." The man looked up at the sky where the warship hovered silently. "That ship," he said, "was built by those who came before us. It was made to protect Earth, not to conquer. For centuries, it slept beneath the oceans, waiting for the day it was needed again." The ambassadors listened in silence, hearts pounding. "You thought Earth was weak," the man continued, "but we only wanted peace. We warned your ancestors long ago. Never bring your wars to this planet." He stepped closer, his eyes cold now. "You didn't listen." One of the ambassadors fell to his knees. "Please, we will never come again. We swear it." The man looked at each of them slowly. "Tell your worlds this," he said at last. "Earth does not seek war. But if you bring war to us again, if you threaten this planet, its people, or its future, then the next time we will not stop with one fleet." His voice dropped lower, harder. "The next time we will end you all." The ambassadors trembled. None of them doubted his words, because above them, the Planet-Killer Warship glowed like a dark sun, silent but ready, as if it agreed with every word he spoke. When the ambassadors returned to their worlds, they carried the same message. Earth had given the galaxy its final warning. Across the stars, empires disbanded fleets. Colonies swore never to approach Earth again. Even the proudest rulers ordered their soldiers to stay far from the blue planet. Because everyone understood something now. Earth was not weak. Earth had only been sleeping. And the day it truly awakened would be the day the galaxy ended.